Hey Canadians, how you doing? So inflation fell to 1.8%, but it didn't really, because this is the effect of taking the HST and GST off of what the federal government has taken it off of. The biggest impact is to food, specifically restaurants. I don't know if you've been going to a restaurant, be it Tim Hortons, your coffee, your large coffee is a little bit cheaper. Restaurant meals a little bit cheaper because the HST has been taken off. So this will go back up on February the 15th. Trump's tariffs will kick in February, they say February 1st. How our government responds to that will be telling. It's gonna hit us regardless. And then April 1st, the increase to the carbon tax. So taking a tax off of food does lower prices, just so we're clear. I personally don't think food should be taxed at all. I don't think any food should be taxed at all in the grocery store, in the restaurant. I don't care if it's prepared. I don't care if it's, raw veggies, evidently. Like, I don't think food should be taxed, right? Maybe if you want to do like junk food, tax junk food. But food that is nutritious, I don't think should be taxed. And yesterday was a bit of a roller coaster. See, the day started out here. Then they announced no tariffs on day one. The Canadian dollar went up. It stayed there for the day. And then he announced February 1st, you're going to get hit with tariffs, and it went back down. And now it's about there, and it's kind of sliding there. Expect that to continue. Why does this matter? This matters because we buy stuff in US dollars. And yeah, the tariffs are coming February the 1st. This has been confirmed. Our response is going to be telling, right? Premier Danielle Smith says we shouldn't have an overly heavy response, right? Now, she may or may not have got a carve out for the oil and gas coming out of Alberta. The U.S. is the biggest customer for this. Time will tell. Remember, time reveals all. Now, this guy wants a very strong response. Very strong response. So, the tariffs will go into the coffers of the government. And this is why Trump wants to do it, is he wants to use those dollars to go towards U.S. debt or lower income tax rates for U.S. citizens, and also move manufacturing back into the U.S. from places like Ontario, which, we have Ford, we have Stellantis, a little bit of GM, but let's just say Ford and Stellantis, right? They have slack production capacity in the States. So Stellantis has a large production facilities in Ohio and Detroit, and they're not at full production. And they could move production from Ontario down to the U.S., okay? And so could Ford. And so could auto parts like Magna, right? They have facilities in the U.S. They can move the rest of their Ontario operations to the U.S. And that's their biggest customer. Moving it to the U.S. would avoid all tariffs. The states that they move to may give them tax incentives to do so, right? And then they sell into Canada, and We're Canadians and we'll pay tariffs on them, right? The government collects the tariffs. The consumer will feel the tariffs because all those costs are passed on. So the next question is, what is the Bank of Canada going to do? Are they going to be proactive or are they going to be reactive, right? They won't be looking at 1.8% as the inflation number because previous inflation numbers were higher, and without the holiday on the GST, this number would be higher, right? So now, with things coming in on February the 1st, are they going to be proactive or are they going to be reactive? Probably going to be reactive. Things are not as certain as they once were, right? This is all kind of new territory. So things are not as certain as they once were. And we'll see it, right? We'll see it. And I saw this on X here. Okay, so condo unit is 35 years old with special assessed with $55,000 in repairs. What should I do? They ask, should I sell it? Should I try to pass the cost on to the buyer? No. Here's what will happen. If you sell it, the $55,000 will come out of your equity and be paid on behalf of the new buyer. Okay? You've lived in the unit. It doesn't matter if you lived in it a year, 6 months, 12, 35 years. You have lived in it longer than the new buyer. You've had the benefit of lower maintenance fees that won't cover capital repairs. So if a large repair in your condo comes up, you have to pay it. Okay? Now, banks will provide you with a second mortgage in most cases because they don't want to go power of sale. If you do not pay this, okay, the condo company can seize your unit and sell it to get the money for this. Okay? So the bank obviously has a mortgage on the property. It doesn't want the condo corporation to force you to sell in order to get the $55,000. So they will loan you as a second mortgage in most cases the $55,000 for repairs, right? So you may not necessarily need it to come out of pocket, but you will pay, right? If you decide to sell and try to transfer that onto the new buyer, it comes up in the status certificate, right? So there's the buyer has a time period where they bring the status certificate to their lawyer. And the lawyer will see, hey, there's a special assessment. Do you want to go forward with the sale or do you want to go back to the seller to pay the special assessment? They'll probably cancel the sale, right? So when you're listing a property that has a special assessment, you need to make very clear that there is a special assessment and that the seller will pay it out of the equity of their sale. That's how you handle special assessment. It has this mindset that they're going to somehow transfer their losses to a new buyer. That mentality needs to end in real estate. That mentality needs to end. Like, this is what you do. If you don't know the rules, you don't know the laws, you can ask, but don't say, like, can I sell and transfer it off to a new buyer? No. Pay it.